All right, guys, we have a lot to talk about today, from Bobby Kotick talking about Xbox Game Pass, how he doesn't believe in it, more games from ID at Xbox. A big game could be dropped into Game Pass, an older Call of Duty, but one that I think people will love to go in and play, especially if it revitalizes the servers and it brings people back into playing it. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black gets an update. And many other things to go over. Yes, the state of play did occur yesterday. Yes, I did watch it, but I'll probably put my updates and thoughts on that on a different video because there's just so much to go through with PlayStation's state of play. But before we do continue, if you do enjoy daily gaming news and content, make sure to hit the subscribe. I keep you updated on everything happening in the gaming world. So if that's what you enjoy, 8 a.m. every morning, watch it while you drink your coffee. Just hit the subscribe, help the channel grow. It'll be very much appreciated. Let's jump in here. Let's talk about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Something we've been talking about a couple of times over the last year or so is, when is Xbox bringing over the older Call of Duties to Xbox Game Pass? I mean, it's about time. We've already seen Xbox go in there and fix up these servers and bring back people into playing these old Call of Duty games back into, in my opinion, the glory days of Call of Duty. And they drop these games into Game Pass. You'll see a bunch of people jumping in and playing it like we are back in the 2010, 2009 era of Call of Duty. And now it looks like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 will be jumping into Xbox Game Pass. And this is going to be the older one, not the new one that came out in 2022, which to me is awesome because Modern Warfare 2 is probably my least favorite of the new releases of these games, but of the older versions, it was probably my favorite one. So this is exciting. We have this here from Insider Gaming, and it says here that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is coming to Xbox Game Pass. Specifically, it is heading to the subscription service, and it's the 2009 Modern Warfare 2, not the same game with the same name that came out in 2022, which was the remake and the newer version of it and everything. The older one, which is great, it was really, I think, the game for me that got me hooked in the Call of Duty multiplayer universe and wanting to pick it up every single year. I played the ones before it, of course, but Modern Warfare 2 is the one that really planted the hook in me with it. And they say here, as of writing it, it remains unclear if it's the full game coming to the service or just the campaign. It's also unknown if it's the original version of the game or the remastered campaign. When it does release on the service, Modern Warfare 2 will become the first classic Call of Duty game to be available for Game Pass members, and it will join recent titles like Black Ops 6, Modern Warfare 3, which is the 2023 version. I would love to see them bring back the older Modern Warfare 3 as well. So very cool stuff. We don't have a date or anything, but they are saying this is happening. This isn't, it's a rumor as of right now because Xbox hasn't fully announced it, but they're saying from their sources that it is happening and it will be dropping into the service. And to me, this is what Xbox needs to do a lot of this year. And that is make sure that they bring back these older Activision games to fill in any sort of gaps that they will have with their first party. Now, the reality is, yes, they have so many first party games coming out this year, but there will still be gaps, and they can save some of these for next year as well. But just take the older back catalog of games that can be released into Game Pass, put them into the service, and people are going to be very excited to play these. And when you put the older Call of Duties, I think you'll see a surge of the player base playing online, which is exciting to get back that nostalgia for when these did first come out. Now, as we know, Bobby Kotick was the head of Activision before Xbox did make the purchase. And one of the major things people were talking about was whether he was going to stay on or not. A lot of people wanted him out, and obviously he did end up leaving. I mean, there was the whole scandal that was going on at Activision while he was there, and he just obviously did not fit into the culture at Microsoft and Xbox, and he left, and he was able to get his golden parachute or whatever, leave Activision. But now he's speaking, he's coming out, he's having some more discussions about Activision, stuff that happened in the past. I made a video yesterday if you do want to check it out, on the studio that made Blur, as well as Project Gotham Racing, that got shut down, and seemingly just because they just wanted to write it off and not really give it a chance, which was very unfortunate, a mismanaged acquisition by Activision. And Bobby Kotick is now giving his thoughts and insight as to what he thinks about Xbox Game Pass, and he doesn't believe in the Xbox Game Pass subscription service. It's one of the things that Xbox and Activision disagreed upon while they're making that acquisition. We have this here from Charlie Intel posting on X saying, former Activision CEO Bobby Kotick says Microsoft Activision deal was negotiated in 3 days, which is just mind-boggling. A $70 billion deal negotiated in 3 days. That's how fast this thing did move. And that's kind of what was insinuated when we were hearing about this acquisition. It came together extremely fast. I think it was in like November before the acquisition was announced. And this is more proof here that that was the case. They say there was a disagreement, however, that was over Xbox Game Pass subscription model. Kotick still insists the Game Pass model is not going to work long-term, but says Microsoft can take these big bets. So he doesn't believe Game Pass is going to work long-term. I mean, as of right now, the data is showing with the biggest game to release every year in Call of Duty, with Black Ops 6, Game Pass has been fine and it has been successful. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 breaking records, having their biggest launch and everything, while still releasing an Xbox Game Pass day one. To me, right now is showing that the Game Pass model is fine for this type of stuff. People are still going to play it where they generally play it, go buy the game at full price, and you're going to be able to boost your Game Pass subscription, because Satya Nadella did come out and say how they got a huge boost because of the Call of Duty, and it did help grow their subscribers. So right now, it is definitely paying off, and it is definitely working, and it is a bet that Xbox has been on the right side of. The question from him, though, is does he believe this will work long term? I don't think there are any signs right now, because you do see their revenues and you do see their content services and everything. It does increase until that starts decreasing with their financial reports on a regular basis. Then there may be some concern for it not working. But as of right now, I think Game Pass is doing completely fine. It is currently working, and going into the future, I do believe that will continue to happen as they put more first-party games on their subscriptions will increase. People are still going out and buying like the premium versions of these games so they can play them 5 days early. There are so many other ways they can take the games that land day one into Game Pass, monetize them on different platforms like PlayStation, monetize them for Xbox gamers by offering value with the premium editions, and still give the games to the Game Pass users on day one. So as of right now, I'm very optimistic about it. I hope it never goes away because it is the best deal in gaming. But Kotick, that was the disagreement. He does not believe in it. But again, he could just have the antiquated thinking. He was doing the same thing for years and years and years at Activision, double and quadrupling down on Call of Duty, not looking outside the box, whereas Xbox has pushed this industry forward on the things that they have been doing. All right, if you like indie games, we talked about this yesterday. They are adding a bunch more indie games over the next coming weeks. There will be an ID at Xbox show at the IGN Fan Fest. And yesterday there was 2 games that were announced, and now there's 7 new indies that are going to be coming here to Xbox that they did announce. And they say here are the games. There's Alpaca Paca Dash 2, Fall Asleep, Super Forklift 3000, Super Jagger Bomb 2, Go East, Penguin Fight, Porkshire Hero, and Pyramids and Aliens Escape Room. Now, I don't really know anything about these games, but I'm always interested in seeing these indie games. How unique are they? Are they fun to play? All of that stuff. When I look at indie games, the main thing that I take away from a lot of them is that they just bring the fun gameplay. They bring that uniqueness that you can kind of get lost with when you're looking at only AAA games. AAA games, a lot of them follow a similar formula based off of what is being successful, especially now in an industry where the risks are becoming less and less. You're seeing a lot of very similar games in the same genres, the ones that they know will sell well. And if they don't, then you're seeing layoffs if the game doesn't do well and stuff. So the indie games are where you're going to get the creativity, in my opinion, at least right now. And maybe that will change in the future, where AAA will start making and taking more risks. But right now, indie, if you want to try some new cool stuff, that is the place to be. And ID Xbox does a great job of getting these games out there for people to play. This next story is very interesting. It has to do with Saber Interactive and the Halo Anniversary game, the Halo C Anniversary. If you've never played it, it's a very nice remaster of the game. You can do switching between the graphics as you play through it. It's very, very cool. Saber Interactive is a developer on this game, but they actually offered Xbox to do it for free. they didn't want to get paid for this. They ended up getting paid, but they didn't want to get paid for it. And it's kind of an interesting story. Matthew Karch talks with Steven Totillo and GameFile about trying to get Halo Anniversary, which they eventually did, and the offer that they did give to Xbox and then Xbox's response and everything. So Matthew Karch here, like I said, talks with Steven Totillo on GameFile, and he says the hardest thing about being in independent development is relying on somebody else. And he refers to games like Will Rock, Time Shift, and Inversion, all failed to make the studio royalties. And then he saw the pitch. It was for Halo, saw that this was an opportunity for them. And he pitched to Microsoft that they would actually develop Halo Anniversary for $0. Xbox executives were confused and said he had to give a number. So he goes on here to say, I said I'd do it for free because it's Halo. It's the biggest franchise in the world at the time. I said it's like putting a Harvard diploma on your wall. Everyone in the world is going to want to work with me after they see that I've worked on this last Halo game, and it is going to open up doors. So I'll suck it up and I'll do it for a loss. They ended up eventually offering $4 million, assuming no studio would be able to match that low bid. And of course, as we know, Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary did get developed by Saber. They were a part of it. Came out and it did very, very well. He says Saber got the job, and Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary was released on the Xbox 360 in 2011. But according to Karch, Microsoft applied certain clauses to the contract, which reduced his royalty to $0. Now, there would eventually be a reward, though, for Saber, because he does say here the studio was given the task of making a similar remaster of Halo 2, which would eventually evolve to become part of the Halo Master Chief Collection. And according to Karch, he refused to sign a contract unless Microsoft removed the clause that killed the previous Halo Anniversary royalties. Microsoft, who Karch called the good guys, agreed to modify the contract, and Saber's royalties for it as part of the Master Chief Collection amounted to what Karch was tens of millions of dollars. A very interesting story here for Saber Interactive, who has done some great stuff, but the reality is this is kind of the struggles within development in the gaming industry, especially as a smaller studio. It's how do you get a job that will put you on the map so that you get more jobs going forward. Obviously, if you're somebody who worked on Halo, you worked on Halo Anniversary, you're going to be looked at to make games in the future, especially if it does do well. But offering $0, that is a bet here for the future of the studio, and it seems to have paid off. I mean, Saber Interactive has bounced around. They were in the Embracer Group, and then it did get sold off to private investors amongst other studios for about $247 million. So I'm sure Matthew Karch and Saber are doing fine right now in terms of the monetary side of things. All right, if you're a fan of Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, it was the game that was stealth dropped at the Xbox Developer Direct. It looks great. It plays great. It is a nice upgrade over the original game, but they're still bringing updates to this game, and it has now dropped. And this is the latest update for the game, adding a photo mode and a new game plus some other additional content here, like the ability to hide projectile weapons. They also have some adjustments for game fixes, bugs and all that type of stuff, and just the overall balancing of the game to go through. So if you haven't played it yet, I highly recommend it just to see how nice of an upgrade is. Yes, it is considered a remaster, but graphically kind of looks like they did remake it. I mean, they remade it in Unreal Engine 5, and overall the game looks like a remake, still feels and plays like a remaster, plays like the older thing, especially with the whole camera side of the game. The Ninja Gaiden games always have a little bit of jank to them, but they are a ton of fun. All right, let's jump over here and a couple more things to go over. Alan Wake 2, they have sold more than 2 million copies, and Remedy is now making royalties from this game. There was a bit of concern, I think, initially that it just hadn't sold enough, and it's a very beloved game, and it was nominated for a lot of awards when it did release. So now it looks like everything's good. They've sold over 2 million copies and are making money off it. This is from the recent financial statement summarizing the company's results for the fourth quarter of 2024, saying the game passed 2 million as a milestone by the end of the year. Specifically saying Alan Wake 2 sales exceeded 2 million units during the quarter. And by the end of 2024, Alan Wake 2 had recouped its development fees and marketing investments, meaning that Remedy started to accrue royalties towards the end of the quarter. I mean, that's great because it is a phenomenal game. It's a phenomenal looking game, all of that type of stuff. And will we get an Alan Wake 3 now that it has done well? All right, a couple more things happening here. Some big changes happening at the top of some big companies here, Koei, Tecmo, and Mojang. There's some major changes happening at the top. First of all, Koei Tecmo CEO is stepping down. And this is the CEO who founded Koei back in 1978 before they merged with Tecmo in 2009. And he is stepping down here. They put out a statement saying our group aims to become the world's #1 digital entertainment company under the spirit of creativity and contribution. And we have been gradually preparing for the transition to the next generation of management through discussions in the nomination and compensation committee. To achieve further growth and profitability for our group, we have decided to implement a new management structure starting from the fiscal year 2025. Koei Tecmo, of course, are known for Ninja Gaiden, which we just talked about. You have Dynasty Warriors, you have Fatal Frame. There's a lot of games that they have published, and he was the CEO for a very long time, and we'll see what the changes are and if it does affect the organization whatsoever. The other thing here is Minecraft. The Mojang, of course, they have announced a new studio head. There's going to be a switch here at Mojang. They say in a statement, Microsoft said on Wednesday that Breeden had made the decision to step down to focus on personal goals outside of work. And as per the Variety reports, Microsoft Gaming's Kayleen Walters will take over at Mojang, who is currently serving as the vice president head of franchise development at Microsoft's gaming division. We always kind of forget about Minecraft, or at least I do, that it's a part of Xbox first party and it's one of the biggest games that Xbox does have. So this is a very prominent role. They obviously have to have somebody in there that can continue to run Minecraft and make sure that it is as successful as it has been going forward. Finally, Crysis 4 is on hold. This is a pretty sad one here if you were looking forward to this. Crysis 4 is on hold, and Crytek is laying off 15% of his staff. Just another casualty to how difficult the gaming industry has been over the last number of years. They put out a statement on X, but basically what they're saying here is that estimated 15% of around 400 employees are being laid off, and Crysis 4 right now is on hold. And they say that they've been trying to shift developers over to the Hunt Showdown 1896. So unfortunate. I was looking forward to Crysis 4. I mean, it's always that meme. If you were back around, can you run Crysis? It was always the best looking game and everything. It's a fun shooter. I mean, you can get them from 1 to 3 and play through them. They are pretty fun. So Crysis 4 is definitely on my list. I was excited to see it and hoping to see more about it this year. Obviously, we won't be with the game on hold. But I will end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next video.
We'll be right back.